Good morning, Service Lines community. How y'all doing today? Dude, I was not motivated to do that at all.
I got to be honest with you. Your eyes looked dead to me when you did that. But it sounded just like every other week, Zach, which is why I'm impressed with you, my friend.
It's a perfect layup to our topic today.
It sure is. So you were faking it?
No, it's habit, buddy. It's habit.
Okay, gotcha.
Motivation only carries you so far, and I sure as hell was not motivated this morning.
No.
But I got the habit.
Can I share something with you? No one else should listen in. I had this Breeze flight from Hartford to Las Vegas, and they said it was direct. But then I saw in little tiny print, it said Breeze Direct, which means you had to go to Jacksonville first. And it said you can stay on the plane. That was like a perk. I had to poop the whole time, man. 8 hours. Thought I was going to die. Is that too much sharing?
It's up to you. I got nothing on that one, buddy.
All right. You know what? I changed my mind. Cut that. Don't share it. But
too late. We're live, buddy.
I hate flying, Zach. I hate it for that reason. You can't eat or drink or anything, man. It's terrible.
Direct flights everywhere, baby. That's why I pay the extra and don't care.
He's called that direct, by the way.
Oh, Rob Jones.
It was a great Asti without Rob there. I got to tell you, it really took it to the next level.
I was sitting next to Rob Wednesday night.
Really? And that's how it made you feel? You almost choked.
No, the weather changed in Chicago. We went from like 70 to 30 overnight. And so Wednesday night, we're sitting in Lou Malnati's in Oak Brook and just enjoying a slice of pie. And I saw dollar signs falling from the sky, baby. Rob looks over, he goes, "We got real hail in Texas."
Yeah.
It was a good night, though. It was a very good night. We are busier than I know what to do with. We had some 2.25 inch hail. I mean, it was a good storm, widespread, lots of work.
Twisted story where you're rooting for the weather to destroy people.
Everyone else is like ducking, and I'm like, "Woo!
Yeah,
we got work. Let's go."
I'll tell you, that's kind of weird, but
it happens.
Right.
Hey, it's like y'all. It's like y'all hoping for washers and dryers and all that crap to break. Not any different.
Yeah. All right.
Not any different. Got to pay the bills, right?
You do have to pay the bills.
So you had a good time out there?
Yeah, it was really great, and a lot of networking, of course, and great attendance. Some good classes. It was definitely a good Asti. Wasn't sure if the next morning people would be in their rooms hungover from the lights of Las Vegas, but it was great. Did a good job. I hope we don't do it there again, but it was a great time. So
we had another Service Alliance group guy win. It's almost like there's a pattern there.
Yeah, JT he's the real deal. So whether he's Appliance Alliance or not, he deserved to win it for sure. So and we were just saying off air, he's got that creepy mustache, and basically, to get to the finalists, you have to go through an advisory board of judges, which is all kinds of vendors and manufacturers. So if you can get to the finals, it's legitimate. Then from there, it's popularity. And he went there with that thing on his lip, and he won still. Good job, JT. Good job.
The porn stash, I call it.
That was, close to Sunday and church day, but go ahead, you say it.
I got no shame. I tease him about it all the time. You can do that when you have a guy that's like a brother to you. You know what I mean? Like
that is true. That is true. I think Rob Jones would look good with one of those things.
I don't know about all that noise.
Yeah,
might be a little scary. Might have to hide the women and children. Just saying.
There you go.
Well, so today's topic is, can motivation sustain you? And the answer is no. No, it can't. you got to build habits, right? So motivation, you got to take that motivation and turn it into a set of habits that you can sustain. Like I said, I got a sinus thing going on, no motivation to do my morning grind. Welcome. But I busted it out because it was habit. I built a habit of making it. That's a simple, stupid one, but it kind of highlights the point pretty well. So, Doug, you want to pray us in, and then we'll get into this topic. You're muted.
Lord God, we thank you for this day. We thank you that you are ever constant in our lives from the beginning of time for the rest of eternity. That how we feel and how reality is just one aspect of all the variables of this world, Lord, and that you reign even over time and our feelings. So, Lord, I lift up Zach to you today, and I pray that this week he find the passion and energy to be a servant to others, to help others, to be a great employee to his employer. Lord, I pray that as opportunities come, that Zach and all of our people watching here on the grind, that we continue to remember to have a balanced life and focus on things that are important, which is you, Lord, and our family and our businesses. So God, help us be a balanced person with the right mindset. And Lord, may you be the motivation that drives everything that we do. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. Oh, man almighty. Weather changes. I'm hoping
I'm reading a book called The Coaching Habit, and then the subtitle, it's all about staying less, which is exactly what I need for my life, ask more questions. But every chapter ends with an exercise of a habit. And the author wants you to write it out. And you need to focus on it. You need to practice it. And it's really tiny habits, which you can see how they all connect together to create something that will be transforming in your lives. And so I like we're on the same page here as we do this.
It just takes some time for Doug to catch up once in a while. It's a great book. It's one of my favorite. It's literally one of my favorite books. If you are a manager in any way, shape, or form, if you're a coach, if you are a business owner, it doesn't matter. If you're leading people, The Coaching Habit is one of the best books that you can read, because you see that stupid, like cartoon about the difference in the boss and a leader, and no one really wants to flush out what that means, right? If you can figure out how to coach people, that's what that actually means, right? Like, you are showing them the way, you are helping draw out what is inside of them, right? So, great book.
Probably more than 10 years ago, it dawned on me when I was telling myself and maybe someone around me out loud, like, I am tired of just saying it over and over and over. They're not listening. They're not trying to make a change. And I realized that talking at people isn't going to do it. It's not going to cut the mustard. Now then, my kids got a little older, and I really needed to have that mindset in place, because that's what's going to happen. So leading with questions that help them navigate themselves towards correction is a million times better, for sure.
So do you agree that we take that motivation and turn it into habit by asking some questions as leaders, right? Maybe not necessarily as the person who's being motivated, but as leaders, that's kind of how we leverage the motivation to be better and turn it into something that's actually a habit, by kind of drawing out what's inside of the person, right?
I agree. Matter of fact, what's their motivation? If their motivation is to get Doug to stop talking at them and leave them alone,
that'll work for a while.
It's not even, it's not sustainable. But if you can get them to have a motivation to be successful, to be driven themselves, to manage themselves, wouldn't that be great to have a team of people that you need less process and procedure, because you don't have to keep redirecting them in the corrals You just have to just set them in a direction and keep that process as basic as possible,
So one of the best examples I know is in sales, right?
Mm-hmm.
Saturday, I was not motivated to go out and work.
Mm.
Not at all. I don't work Saturdays. I haven't in a very long time. I went with my daughter. We did the daddy-daughter thing in the morning at Home Depot.
Yep.
And built a little butterfly house. A lot of fun. It's become habit. We do it, right?
Yep.
I came home. I had my bag ready, and I headed back out in the truck and off to work. And talked with the boss man, got some ideas for the day, and then went and did some door knocking. I'm motivated to door knock. I don't like to door knock, right? I don't like being that guy, pounding on the door and going, "Hey, you got damage on your roof." You know what I mean? Like, it's just that does not. I don't enjoy that, right? But I know I have to build a habit of, hey, this person has damage, and maybe they don't know it, right? So we did that first one. Then I went on a training episode with another guy and kind of learned some siding and stuff like that. And then we said, hey, let's all go to another neighborhood. And we went out as a team and we walked the neighborhood and we just kept knocking on doors. Got a door slammed in my face by a little old lady who she's going to have a big leak in her house really soon. And, you kind of don't want to leave that hanging, right? But she's probably had her door knocked 100 times this week, right? So that discourages you, but you keep walking, you keep knocking. We came to another house. We rounded a corner. I'm like, man, I don't want to knock another door. Like, I just got a door slammed in my face and all these other ones haven't answered. I'm like, and this lady's got damage too. And the guy I was with is like, well, give it a go. He goes, I mean, it's clearly damaged. Like, you're just trying to let this lady know. So I go and I knock it and she goes, oh my gosh, 3JM, we were going to call you. I'm so glad that you were in the neighborhood today. I said, well, be even more glad because you got damage on your roof. And I happened to notice it as we were walking by. So the fact that I can see it from the ground, it's some good sized damage, right? And so she comes out and we go through everything and, oh my gosh, I'm going to call in the claim, like we went through the whole thing. So that kind of, it takes that motivation, like, okay, I want to get out there, I want to help some people, I need to make some money, and turns it into a habit. Just keep doing the thing, right? And so that works to your advantage. You have to figure out how to take that, what's driving me, what's this initial spark, and what's going to sustain it for the long haul. What becomes those habits, those building blocks that we get. So how has that worked in your life? Like, because you're not a book guy by admission. Like, that wasn't, you just kind of did the things over the years. So what was that initial like spark that has then led to however many years of habit for you?
Well, let's see. So obviously it was the book 21 Irrefutable Laws, right? Kind of showing me that I'm gonna limit my abilities as a leader, so that there's that. But you kind of, for me, you were kind of describing a bit of like a work grind. Like, oh my gosh, I got to go do this thing.
Well, that's what I meant. I didn't mean like the book. I meant like, you built these habits over however many years or whatever before you even really got into books. Like, what was that work grind?
Yeah, I think for sure, if we look at it like I've got to go to work today to make money, then you're in trouble. So early on, I recognized the joy of helping people. And that's been a motivation for me. And then when I took over the business and started running the business, weirdly enough, I did not imagine that could be a grind, but it did. And so what we have to kind of do, what I've been doing is just identifying, sort of a big picture perspective of what's to come and what needs to be done. So like for instance, for you with roofing currently, what was your motivation to get out and knock doors?
I'm watching the bank account go like this.
And that's not sustainable, right? And how many business owners are living day by day, week by week, month by month, year by year, looking at the bank account? That is definitely not motivation for anything but to make money. And so now almost everything you do, and if you have employees, they start to feel that vibe, that it's about the money. So that's what's exciting about leaving the money as the last part, and
yeah, I mean, so like for me, I haven't taken a paycheck in a month. Like I have not had a paycheck in a month, right? And I had built up enough emergency fund that like it's okay, but now we're getting to the point where it's like,
yeah,
some of these jobs better start turning or I'm going to be in some trouble. Like I cushioned as good as I could and we're rice and beans and
sure,
like doing what we can. But like it's that thing, right? Like, so, okay, great. And I was telling the new owner, we got bought out and absorbed into a company that's been around for a long time. And him and I were talking and I said, well, I left the job where I had a full pipeline and it was always like I was always planting and harvesting. And now I'm into I got to plant nonstop and I'm not seeing the harvest. It could be 30, 60, 90 days out before I'm going to see a harvest on what I'm planting. My bank account's pretty soon not going to allow it. And I said, so I just did the work, man. I did what I know how to do. I know how to market myself on Facebook. I know how to network. I know how to do all these things, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I just did it. I'm like, I had a motivation that I'm not going to let my family suffer.
Yep.
All right, what does that look like? What habits do I have built into my life? Okay, yes, I can network. I can do this personal branding thing on social media. Here we go. Let's do it. I come in with 7 leads. I got one that just turned. I got another one that's going to turn. I door knocked someone. I got another one there, right? Like, and I just landed another monster further out. So like you do these things and you do these things and eventually it becomes a habit, right? And then you build on those habits. So you take that initial spark and then you got to just like,
well, I keep equating what you're sharing with our audience and people in our industry
yeah,
that have a small appliance repair business. And I led a session and the theme was like working in your business and working on your business.
mm-hmm.
And what you did over the weekend was working in your business because you need to generate that. And how many business owners are going, what do you mean you want me to work on my company culture? I don't have time for that because I got to go plant the seeds. I have to go and do the work. But there is a balance there where you maybe have to do like 90-10, 90 in, 10 on, and then 80 in, and then 20 on, and just try to find that balance. Otherwise, if you don't make that a habit of working on your business, you will find yourself in this endless loop of chasing the money. And then when the money's there, taking a break, and then slow season comes and you're chasing the money again. And so it's making those little changes and adjustments.
Would it be easier to just work on these things ahead of time and just almost create a perpetual motion machine, right? Like we work on the personal branding, we work on the company branding, we work on the team culture, we work on the coaching habit, these things in those small pockets, right? Because I mean, how much time do you focus on personal development, Doug? Like you spend a lot of time in the office, but how much time do you spend on personal development? It's smaller.
Mm-hmm.
But that little leverage point of personal development for you, right? Like it's created these big returns just in the last year.
Well, okay, so Action Appliance becomes like an experiment for me because
Right.
While I'm working at work in the office with our people, I'm trying to apply and integrate these things that I've never done before. These things that we're studying and learning together that are game changers that create a return on your investment. So sometimes I think some people, customers and employees of Action might be a little bit of a guinea pig for, where they're getting a little coaching habit, and it's kind of like Tim Allen speaking to his neighbor over the fence. Comes back all jarbled, and they're like, "What the hell is he doing there?" But it's that practice that has to happen for it to get better. Just like when I was a technician on the road, I was a hot mess in the beginning, and then I got really good at it, and then I didn't have to think anymore. It became very easy to me. So now I'm in that mode again where I have to think, and it's hard work, but it's fun. It's fun because we're heading into a direction of something, right? Plenty of people, breakfast and lunches, trying to sit down at different tables. Shocking to hear how many people, when you just start to bring up a topic, they go, I don't have time for that. That's good for other businesses. But for me, it's about making sure that my employees, my 2 employees, have enough calls and we make money. They'll be stuck there for a little while, but it's only on them that they have a light bulb moment, that some moment or word triggers them to do it. And that's why things like ASTI are there. And I hope that people can keep an open mind. Right?
Yeah, I mean, I guess that's what I'm challenging. Why are we not doing these little things, right? Like, so I use the analogy of planting and harvesting, right? And that's strictly sales. But listen, if you own an appliance repair business, guess what? You're a salesman.
Yeah.
You're a salesman.
Yeah.
You got to plant and harvest at the same time. Like, you got to figure out how to do that, right? And so what is the best way to do that? I am telling you from experience. Not only as a strict salesman, but as a former owner. If you are not planting and harvesting at the same time, if you're not building that habit, it's going to be trouble. It's going to be trouble. You're darn right you heard sales. Every single one of them in the audience, from technicians to owners, it doesn't matter. You are in sales. Embrace it. Love it. Begin to build the habits that make that better.
So I'm trying to, we all know this, and some people will fight the whole concept. But how do we, again, it's their moment, anyone's moment to have a light bulb moment when they want to hear it for the 1,000th time, right? 3 times, right? So how about this? I noticed this for a long time, and I saw it a lot at ASTI. It's kind of confirmation that doesn't have to be me, anybody. In a group setting or in a conversation, someone brings up a topic, a conversation, an idea. It's watch the next time it happens in a group setting. There's always one person, usually a Rob Jones, that immediately has a problem with it right from the start. Like, that person stops talking and another person goes, yep, that won't work. Nope, tried that. Their mind was closed the whole time. As soon as they heard a trigger word that reminded them of their experience, they went into sort of an egotistical mode and just said, no, this guy or this person, what they're saying is not true. And their mind just shuts down. And then as soon as that person's done speaking, they're shooting it down. They're saying it doesn't work. That was a waste of time for that person. So I think the trick here is to be open, even if it sounds crazy, even if it sounds like BS. Listen to the whole thing and authentically think about it, and you'd be surprised what good things can come from it.
What I want to know is how many of those people that shut it down, and I'm trying to think back through my experience, you think back through yours, right? How many of those people actually practiced whatever was said enough to make it a habit, to move it from motivation to habit?
Well, yeah, of course. There's that. I've tried it once, right? And that was it. And then they're done. There's a name for it, Rob?
Yeah.
Sniper, huh?
Yeah.
Poor Rob.
I mean, they kill it quick. They kill the conversation quick.
Yeah.
But that's the point. Like, oh, I tried it. No, you didn't. No, you didn't. Because if you actually tried it, you have some evidence on the other side to say, okay, here's how it worked out. Like, I tried it this way and I did it this way and I did this thing and I did that. Like, I tried all these different variations and I just can't find that thing that makes that work for me. And maybe that other person goes, oh, well, I did this. Light bulb.
Sure.
Right. But they didn't actually try it. They tried to use motivation. Oh, I need to make a paycheck. I need to get calls for my guys. I need a whatever. That's motivation, guys. That is motivation. I got to fill the pipeline for my technicians. There's got to be enough calls. That's motivation, and that's only going to carry you so far.
So Zach, imagine if your brain is just wired that way, that you don't even recognize what you're suggesting, which is you tried it once. Did you reflect? Did you kind of come up with what failed and try something different on that? Let's say you didn't. I think that I think it's important to listen anyway, even if you completely doubt it, and look for one thing of truth or one interesting curiosity and think on it. That's the practice that we have to do to switch, because you can do the Chicago thing because your eyes got really like, even though you had like a gentle face on, you had angry Chicago eyes, like, guys, it is sales. And I think of my 16 technicians, and oh wait, there was a great stat that I love from the keynote speaker. 18% of your team are engaged with your vision, mission, purpose, culture, your goals. 52% are not engaged. And then the remainder, about 20 or whatever, are completely disengaged. And I was like doing the math. I was going, yep, I got the 3 people that they don't buy into anything we do, and they do whatever they can to stay below the radar and do the minimum amount of work. And then we've got the 3 rock stars, and then everybody in the middle, they're not engaged. It's our job to get them engaged. So I think it's about practicing our mindset, because that's what you and I like to talk about, right? And think about. And so what can we do?
I'm going to blow your mind here for a second. How many rock stars did you say you had?
Like 2.5.
You said 3.
Okay, 3.
That's 20%.
Yeah. Yeah.
I hate to tell you that's 100% normal. I really hate to tell you, because you're going to have 20% drive 50% of your sales every single time. So figuring out how to get that other 80% at least semi-engaged, like that's
but from that keynote speaker, a lot of times that bottom 20 or 18% gets our attention, and that's not really what we're striving for, right? It's the return on investment is the 52%. It's the people not engaged, but would be if they can get the way they process things, to improve on that. So again, if you feel like you're shutting down an idea before it's coming out of someone's mouth, if you're having trouble in your business, it's you. And so what can you do? Even if it sounds like a bunch of BS, why don't you find some truth in the conspiracy theories of Rob Jones? Because even Rob Jones and what he shares, you can build off of some of the little nuances. So I think that's the practice, because even my employees, those that are in the bottom 20, I have to do my best to be completely engaged with them and give them the benefit of the doubt. And when they share something that they believe is a pain point in the business, just because they're in the bottom 20, I could just shut them down and ignore them, or I can hear it from their perspective and do something about it. And who will it affect mostly? The 52%. So thank you, bottom feeder, for me making a change, because I have an open mind even to that person.
The reality is the top 20%, that top 20% who has been driving nonstop, they've already turned motivation into habit, and they're just doing it, and they're just crushing it, because that's what they do. That's who they are. Right. And like, you have to find ways to keep them engaged and inspire them on occasion. But for the most part, they're self-starters. They're going to do it. Like, you have to show them some appreciation, some love, whatever. Like, that's how you treat the 20%. Give them the tools. Like, they need some fancy tool. Yeah. Here you go. Here it is. Rock and roll. See ya. Bye. Because they recognize that as appreciation. You're giving them something to be better at what they're already amazing at. Right. That middle 20% or that middle 50%, right? Like, they're seeing what the rock stars are doing, and they're going, man, I kind of want to be there. Like, he makes it look easy. Like, how do I achieve that? Right. I don't want to be like these guys, because like I want to slap that guy around, right? Like, and so it's as a coach, your job is to kind of draw out what is going to be that trigger for them to go from one point to the next point. How do you move that motivation into habit for that middle 52%? I love it, man. I love seeing that in practice.
The SMART goals, because recently I've been working with one of my guys he thinks he's in the bottom 20%. Now he's only thinking money, and I'm looking at it with attitude and mindset, right? But this guy thinks he's the worst in the company, but every time I talk to him and we dive into his challenges and I propose a tool or an approach, he applies it. So he's moving his way up, but he was thinking is at the bottom. So I have to keep reminding him, your willingness to meet, talk, try something, give it time. It will reap its benefits, and let him know that I'm impressed that he's willing to do that. So numbers are one aspect, but it's the heart that's behind it, right?
I mean, I think that's the biggest part of it, is learning how to listen, learning how to ask the questions, whether it's of yourself or of others. We said it before. I'm going to say it again for those that are here and maybe weren't here before. Go get yourself the coaching habit. I don't care where you are, especially if you're that guy that's like, nope, done it. You can't tell me nothing. Go get that book. Read that book. I promise you it will change your life if you give the steps in there, the habits in there, an honest try. And anyone else, go read the book. It's going to teach you how to ask some better questions. It's going to teach you how to inspire those around you better. It's a great book.
Yep.
I love it, man. It's so many people think it's just, I'm motivated. Like, I think to the new year every year, right? How many times have you kept a New Year's resolution, Doug?
I don't even make them because I don't ever keep them.
Right. That's motivation. Like, that's motivation right there. New Year's. Yeah. I'm going to do this. That's like trying to make motivation carry you for an entire year. That's not creating the habits, right? It's just practice. You got to practice. I got out of habits, right? Gained some weight, annoying myself again. And I'm just going to dive in, my typical ADHD. I'm full in.
Right.
And then I went, nope, not going full in. I was trying to go straight on for my full 72-hour fast like I've done before. It does not work.
Sure.
Not when you haven't practiced it in a while.
Yeah.
So I dialed it back. I said, what can I do? Can I do 24 hours? I'm not quite there yet. All right.
Yeah.
You know what we're going to do? We're going to do an 18-6, right? So the point of that is, in where you are now, what little thing, what scaled back baby step can you take today that's going to let you compound? We celebrated my wife's birthday yesterday. I haven't had cake, right? I practiced my 18-6. And so while they're eating cake at noon, I knew that I wasn't eating until 3:00. I had built the habit up to the point that 5 days into it, 6 days into it, I was fine. So what little thing can you do today to improve your business? What little baby step can you take and practice today? Is it going to a chamber meeting? Is it posting some pictures on social media? Is it sharing a tip on social media? Like, what little baby step can you take today, and then tomorrow, and then the next day? Like, and just continually do that.
I agree, Zach. But thanks to people like Ginny and Smart Goals and in our peer group, our mastermind group, to see smarter people than me, watch someone struggle and go, I want to get this done. And they're just not able to do it. and breaking that down into smaller parts, but the smaller parts equal the bigger goal, I think is the way to do it. Like going to ASTI, it seems like I'm always fat when I go to ASTI. Like I start gaining weight through the summer and into the winter. It's a stressful time. And I'm like, damn, I hate it, you know. But like what you were just talking about, if I just start worrying about the drink, the kind of drink that I'm having, the sugary drink or whatever, and just doing it one bit at a time, it's better than trying to walk or run and eat completely healthy and cut out all fun stuff. That's an overwhelming task. So I think about that in our business. If we want to improve the walk rate in your company or the callback rate, you can't just say, I'm going to go and hound everybody and make sure they just do their job right. It's not specific enough. So identify 3, 5, 8 things that have to be done to make that better and work on one at a time, making a habit out of each one.
Right? Or maybe one person, right? Maybe it's one guy. You're like, you know what? I think this guy could actually help prove how we lower the walk rate. All right. So I'm going to work on coaching him up because he's the most coachable, and see, like, experiment with this one little thing. Hey, try this today. See if we can lower that walk rate, you know, for this period of time.
Right.
Okay, that didn't work. Let's try this.
Oh, right? Sure. Imagine being an employee and Zach comes to you and says, hey, I noticed this is going on. I've got an idea. Why don't you try this? And you try it, and then you don't reach back out to him. And it has an effect or no effect, but you're like a pet project to him. But if you were to be committed to helping them out, and anytime you help an employee or a technician out, especially if they're incentive-based pay, you help them. It's a win for them. It's a win for the customer, and it's a win for the company.
Well, and that's what I mean by, like, let's scale it back even further, right? Like, let's really, like, truly engage with that one person.
Yeah.
Right. Because as a business owner, if we're trying to build a habit of checking in with our people and actually, like, engaging with them, are you going to be able to engage with 10 people? Or are you going to be able to engage with one?
Right.
Let's try the one, because as we build that habit, then all of a sudden, oh, now I can engage with 2.
Yep.
Oh, now I can engage with 3 of them, 4 of them, 5 of them, 16 of them. Right. Like, it takes time to build that habit. So what's the one thing you can do today? What's the one more that you can do today that helps move that needle? So I got nothing else, man. That was a great topic. I hope that inspires some of them to get out there and build some habits.
That's it. I agree. Saul, thanks for staying focused on topic through the podcast. Appreciate that. And no, I will not be exercising. Did you hear me? I'm going to focus on something small at first. Exercise is the last thing. So,
all right, guys, have a good week. See you next time.